the general framework for improving transportation. Let's see how we can reduce the greenhouse gases generated by transportation. Since we have two groups that have different drivers, we will have to create two different frameworks. As we have mentioned previously, we will explore 5 main directions separately for people and goods. We will start with the transportation of people. The first group of solutions that will help us reduce greenhouse gases is devoted to reducing or removing the need. In this specific situation, we will look for ways to make people move less or at shorter distances. Since most of the movement is generated by going back and forth to work, a lot can be achieved by living closer to the office or factory in which a person works. Remote work is an even better solution as it fully eliminates the need to go to the office. In most cases, even partial remote work, the so-called hybrid model, will immensely help. For certain job positions, you can also consider changing the duration of the shift. Usually, people work for 8 hours. Since the work week is set at around 40 hours per week, this means going to work 5 times a week. Increasing the shift duration to 10 hours would help reduce the number of trips to work to 4 per week. Apart from the work, you will have to travel for certain services and goods. To reduce the trips related to that, we can do 2 things. Firstly, you can digitalize services. This will improve the situation, especially when it comes to healthcare and public services. Secondly, you can ensure the right density of the so-called points of service. By a point of service, we mean an outlet that delivers certain goods or services to individuals. Grocery stores, hotels, hairdressers, schools, and shopping malls are just some examples of such points of service. For example, if the schools are located close to you, you don't have to use the car to drive the kids. Now let's see what we can do to improve existing solutions. In this situation, we would mean lowering the carbon dioxide generated by the cars with combustion engines that we own. Again, here we have plenty of tactics that we can use. You can buy biofuels instead of regular fuel, optimize the speed of the car to reduce fuel usage, or adjust the size of your car to your needs. Also, producers constantly optimize the design of the car to lower fuel consumption. Another interesting solution is to have more people in the same car. This solution is heavily used by colleagues who work in the same office and live next to each other. The third group of tactics is focused on moving to more efficient solutions. In the case of transportation of people, a more efficient solution that generates a smaller amount of greenhouse gases is public transport, bicycles, scooters, and electric cars. In some cities scattered on hills, lifts and escalators may also greatly help. There are also cities utilizing moving walkways. So far, we have discussed easy solutions. It's time to look at the more challenging tactics. We still have to develop a lot of technologies that will help us address areas for which we still have not good solutions. The first on our list is full self-driving. This will enable us to have fewer cars and eliminate parking lots. By the way, roughly 30% of the space of a typical American city is parking lots. If you get rid of that, you can make the cities more compact and shorten the average distances that you have to cover to reach your point of destination. We also need a cheap and fast way to dig tunnels. This will help us not only build a more reliable metro network, but also would help with car transport. Tunnels in cities can be used as alternatives to highways. The third nice-to-have technology is the so-called hyperloop. A hyperloop is a tunnel through which a train using magnetic propulsion can travel very fast, thanks to the vacuum inside the tunnel. The vacuum enables the train to travel free of air resistance or friction. Such a train can be an alternative to flying a plane for distances up to 1,000 kilometers. On top of that, we still need electric planes and boats to help us move people around at longer distances. Last but not least, let's look at the changes in logic that may help us drastically reduce the emissions of greenhouse gases. The first big improvement can be done by redesigning cities. In many cities, offices and factories are built in special zones. People to reach work have to travel big distances from the suburbs. If instead of special dedicated zones you create mixed zones, you will have potential houses close to factories and offices. Thanks to this, people will be able to live much closer to their workplace. By the way, this was the model used at the very beginning of the Industrial Revolution. Allowing to build higher buildings and thus increasing the density in the city will also help shorten the average distance that you need to travel. One of the biggest differences between Europe and the USA is the size of the cities. In the USA, more people live in houses, whereas in Europe we have more apartment buildings. Thanks to that, in Europe you can move around on foot or using public transport. In most American cities without a car, it would be pretty difficult. Apart from that, we can limit the use of cars in the cities, keep the cities from growing, and try to get rid of traffic peaks. Those things are already used in Europe.